Grace Jo is a 26-year-old Montgomery College student who hopes to become a dentist one day. But not long ago, life was much different for this Germantown resident. Grace grew up in North Korea, where she endured severe consequences living under the Kim regime.
Well, as a child growing up in North Korea, it was constantly hungry and cold and scary because almost 10 days we were starved to only drinking cold water and without any food, constantly hungry all the time. So it was cold during the winter, and because we didn't have enough clothes to wear and no shoes to wear, and then no food to eat, so it was cold, hungry, and scary.
In the 1990s, famine hit North Korea and more than 1 million people died from starvation, including her 2 younger brothers and her grandmother. When Grace was 6, her father was caught leaving the country to look for food for his family. He was tortured and left to die. After his death, it was up to her mother to make the dangerous quest to find food for Grace and her sister.
Sometimes she crossed the Tumor River to China to ask our relatives in China and ask them to give her a bag of rice and some food, and she can carry with her and then come back to North Korea. So it's a long journey, very difficult, and she also has to carry a really heavy thing on her back. With the barefoot, just walking and crossing the river and crossing the mountains. So it was really difficult for her to find the food for us.
Grace and her mother and sister continued to take the risk of escaping from North Korea. They walked for 4 days to reach China, but each time they were caught and sent back or imprisoned. When Grace was 15, she spent 13 months in a prison in China.
Well, that prison only contains North Korean defectors. Each room can contain 50 people, and then really high wall. So we barely see the green trees from really far away, through a really tiny small window on the upper wall. So that was really hard for us because sometimes we see a 2-year-old boy and mother got separated in the prison. They're crying, all those sad moments. And of course, many people try to suicide because they fear that once they sent back to North Korea, they will die or go to prison, and all those tortures and fears. They don't want to face that, so they want to die in the prison in China.
Were you tortured at all?
Well, yes, a little bit. I was really young, 14 or 15 years old, so I didn't get tortured like my mother and my sister, but yes, just hit by bare hand.
But in 2006, with the help of a Korean-American pastor who raised $10,000 to bribe North Korean officials, Grace and her family escaped. When she finally made it to America in 2008, she learned how to speak English, got a high school degree, and then in 2013, she became a U.S. citizen.
I was so excited because back in 2014, I had a chance to go to South Korea for a business trip. And when I go out to international airline, it was so amazing. I was like, oh my God, I can take a plane and I can go to other country with this passport, and means citizen, and I belong to somewhere. So I feel so happy and excited. And because of that, after I become citizen, I tried to do my best, whatever I can.
When you meet Grace Jo, you would not know the struggles she endured. Despite the devastating loss she and her family suffered, Grace says she is determined to succeed and continue to help North Korean refugees settle in the United States.
Grace Jo is a fine example of someone who's committed to spreading liberty worldwide. Grace came to the United States as a refugee from North Korea. Please join me in welcoming Grace Jo.
And for her advocacy and hard work, she was recently awarded the North Korea Freedom Scholarship from the George H.W. Bush Institute.
Working together, Americans have the ability to change the world. Thank you.
She also helped organize a nonprofit, North Korean Refugees in the United States, aimed at helping refugees settle in the United States.
We hope North Korean defectors like us want to escape and find freedom. So my sister and I travel to give our testimony and let people know about the situation in North Korea.
And as the world looks on amid rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea, this young woman who watched family members starve to death is straightforward with her views on how the dictatorship should be handled.
So I think defense with a strong action is a little necessary at this time. But of course, I don't want to see all those military force or dropping bombs in North Korea because of the citizens. But I always think of myself, like, why don't U.S. government send a special force into Pyongyang and get all those special military leaders at one time and then just announce North Korean regime is changed. So if there's no leaders in the military group and in Pyongyang, which is 1% of North Korean population, then North Korea is done.
The memories of what Grace Jo endured are still clear. Though she is grateful for her life today, she is humble about how she prevailed. To me, you seem like a very brave, strong woman.
I think I am strong, like my mom. My mother was stronger than any of us. She was a lady who lost her husband, mother, and children, but she still remained alive because of remaining her two daughters. And then all her journey passed through China and America. It was really challenging for her as a young woman, but she did. So as a daughter of her, I mean, in America we have a way better life and way better choices, and why not we try our best to get through it. As a child, we shouldn't make her disappointed after she took us to America.
We will not rest until the suffering and the nightmare of everybody from North Korea is over in North Korea. Thank you very much.